Okay, I don't know if you guys are ready to hear this, but DC League of Super Pets is one of my favorite DC movies of all time. Originally, this wasn't a movie I was excited to see. I saw the trailers and just thought that this was going to be a dumb kids movie that was just your average turn your brain off talking animal experience. That, and I wasn't too sold on the designs and thought they all looked too goofy, even for comic book movie standards. However, out of absolute nowhere, I started seeing a lot of people start talking about how great and cool it was. So that's when I thought, perhaps I treated you too harshly. So that is how I came to watching DC League of Super Pets. And holy shit. The marketing for this movie is absolutely atrocious. They really didn't even try to showcase just how cool and really well written this movie is. Most of the footage shown is just all the jokes and the villain being a guinea pig with a few sprinkles of good stuff here and there. That and I generally don't like Kevin Hart and Dwayne. I can never take either of them seriously as actors. Though weirdly enough, they're both at least serviceable in this movie. Kevin Hart is actually trying to be more serious about his role than he usually is. And I think that Dwayne is probably the perfect role for Krypto's arc. They both think that they are better than what they actually are, and his over-exaggerated and arrogant voice that I absolutely despise kinda works with Krypto's character arc. But before I get into that, there's going to be spoilers, so skip to whatever time frame I awkwardly throw on screen for my spoiler-free thoughts. Krypto and Superman's relationship is a serious highlight in this movie. I honestly did not think I'd be saying that because they're both played by two actors I don't like. The relationship is so wholesome and never goes too far with Krypto's jealousy of Lois. At first I thought that Superman was going to turn into a huge meanie head to Krypto after getting closer to Lois, which is usually how all kid movies handle this trope. Do I even need to mention? But I'm actually glad that Superman is totally chill about it and tries to make up for not spending enough time with him and spending more time with Lois. Which I must say that Superman is absolutely peak in this movie. He's very down to earth and casual about day-to-day life. Sleeping in late, taking his dog for walks in the sky, acting all jokey when he saves civilians. It really brings Superman to a down-to-earth type character that really he's always been. Acting no different than any other person on the ground when he's in the sky. It's something that hasn't been turned into the films recently, so it's a nice refresher to remind people that Superman isn't boring. Krypto's jealousy for Lois seems to be all in his head. Like, yeah, of course the other animals try to tell him that Superman is going to replace Lois, but it is never portrayed that Superman is the one at fault here. It is Krypto's own selfishness and insecurities that make him start acting up and being angry. I think it's a nice segue into him growing when the Justice League gets captured. He is now forced to work with the stray animals that he was mean to earlier at the pet store, but he doesn't believe that they can actually be of use. He tries demanding and taking control of the situation in the first battle, but that only ends up making things worse and the plan spiraling all out of control. And although it's partially because of the strays being new to their powers, it's also because Krypto really isn't that good at being a leader. The whole time he tries acting like the Superman to his pets, but he never understood what that truly meant. It's not about demand and control, it's about inspiring them and learning where the struggles come from. His growth becoming a leader and being able to work with these animals also leads him into figuring out just how selfish he's been to Superman. He thinks that he can have him all to himself because of how much time they spend together, and that he doesn't want to leave him, which both acts as relentless love, but also as excessive jealousy. Because if you love someone, and I mean really love them, you're willing to do anything, even if it hurts.
You know what they say about dogs, don't you? We love unconditionally.
There is such maturity but also simplicity behind this message. Because we see just how Ace had to do the same thing with his owners, and how he sacrificed their love just for a chance of saving their child. And he never regrets it. Because he still saved someone he loved, even if it cost his relationship with his owners. And in the final battle, Krypto does the same. He is willing to sacrifice himself and his life to save Superman. And while albeit a common trope, it's executed so perfectly because it ties back to what Ace, a normal dog, was willing to do for someone they cared about. It not only brings Krypto down to a more earthly level from an emotional standpoint, but it also strengthens the themes of love and friendships while also concluding Krypto's arc in a satisfying way. Because again, Krypto was the one at fault from the start, and the movie never tries to tell you otherwise.
It's not superpowers that make you a hero, Krypto. That's not your problem.
Then what is it?
Your problem is you.
Me? You? What do you mean me?
He learns to redeem himself by attempting to make the ultimate sacrifice. Though, Ace still thought he deserved a second chance with his owner, which is why he defended him, so that he could redeem himself in person rather than just a noble sacrifice. I'm so glad it didn't end with a parting ways ending and the three of them were able to share each other, especially after Krypto saved Lois when he could have easily gone after Superman. I also think that LuLu is such a great villain. Not only is Kate McKinnon's voice acting great, making her a wacky and snappy antagonist, but LuLu is also a direct foil that ties into Krypto's arc. Her plot for vengeance against the Justice League is so that she can free Lex Luthor, so that they can both rule the world together. That is her only goal, and you can even see the direct parallels when LuLu tries to argue that Lex would never choose anybody else except LuLu, the same way Krypto thought about Superman, and this is personal conflicts brought to an extreme.
Yeah, just like his did.
Superman needed me.
Which is what I think also helps Krypto over his selfishness over Superman when he finds out that his corporate scumbag just wanted all power for himself and cared nothing about the effort that their partner did for them unconditionally. And because of this betrayal, her literally only option left is to violently murder Lex, which again, helps Krypto see just how destructive he has been to Superman. On top of this surprisingly beautiful, heartwarming arc with Krypto, it ended up being extremely hilarious. There could have very easily been nothing but pea and fly humor, and while there is some of that, this movie goes to the next level with the jokes. Not only does it display how unskilled the other pets are in a very humorous way, but the over-exaggerated expressions and reactions of Krypto to these failures work from both a writing and comedic standpoint. That and overall, Krypto treating like everything like some superhero flick is just peak superhero animal stuff. Take notes, Bolt. That and I think that all the voice cast did an exceptional job of balancing out the humor with all the deep character stuff. Diego Luna as Chip is constantly anxious and thinks everything around him is going to be hurt or he himself will hurt others. His eccentric voice acting is both hilarious but also satisfying when he overcomes these fears. Vanessa Bayer is a super nerd who learns to be herself rather than trying to imitate her idol Wonder Woman. And literally every scene Natasha Lyonne is in just cracks me up. I seriously did not expect half of the jokes that she had. And there was something just so gut-wrenchingly hilarious about The Rock playing 3 separate characters at the same time for the post-credits scene. And while there are quite the fair share of jokes within the movie, it never overstays the welcome and lets the emotional or action-packed scenes play out. Take notes, Love and Thunder. John Whittington is such a legend when it comes to writing children's movies. Seeing the goddamn Lego Batman movie, Sonic 2, and Super Pets all in the same image just gives me feelings I never thought I could have. I think that he should be a part of a lot more than just children's movies because he makes the tightest of scripts, able to balance out the lighthearted humor with the deep emotional cores of his movies. If I had to say which of the 4 masterpieces is the best one, I'd say it's Super Pets. I think it's neck and neck with the Lego Batman movie, but I found myself laughing even more at Super Pets than Lego Batman. If I really had to say anything that's bad about this movie, it's that again, I think I'm just overall tired of The Rock and Kevin Hart. While they still are both serviceable and they both work for their respective characters, sometimes I still found myself not taking either of them seriously, even when they tried to be. That and the character designs are just kinda horrendous. The only exceptions I would say are the Pets, Superman, and maybe Green Lantern. Other than that, it felt like those designs were really trying to push towards a PG demographic. Like, yikes, what'd they do to my boy? But overall, DC League of Super Pets exceeded my expectations and more. It's very simplistic when it comes to its themes, but it manages to not only be both compelling and deep, it's also very funny with jokes I did not expect them to put in this movie. I also think this is probably one of the best Superman movies, because it manages to bring both Krypto and Superman down to a more human level, where even through their superpowers, they feel no different than any other person or animal. It's not something that's going to change a life, but this unrelenting love for one another, completely unconditionally, is extremely heartwarming. That bond that can never break, despite all of the hardships. A bond even more than just a pet and an owner. A bond between 2 best friends. Something we haven't seen in a Superman movie in decades. This was just such a cool ass movie. If you despise Kevin Hart and The Rock, maybe this will change your mind because it's one of, if not their best performance in my book. All the characters are great with such expressive and unique voice acting, while also each of the main characters getting their own arcs, concluding it very nicely. Despite what all the trailers have done to seriously hurt my expectations going in, I think that DC League of Super Pets deserves a 9 out of 10. I'm not kidding, it is just that good. This is how you make a Superman movie. Take notes, Warner Bros. Thank you all so much for watching. Despite all the discourse with Warner Bros. Right now, I'm so happy that they put out an absolute banger of a movie. If you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe and let me know your thoughts on the movie or my critique of it. Also be sure to hit the notification bell so you're notified when future content releases. I'm your favorite Counterboy, signing off.